it's one of those things where you realize that there's a larger mechanism kind of at play, between the record label and you, the media, everybody that has a part in the way that a record is released, and you definitely don't want to spoil that.
Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in our old friend Chris Broderick of In Flames. How are you doing, Chris?
Hey, what's happening, everybody? I'm doing really good. We're just kicking off, our U.S. tour, and we're going to be out on the road here in the States and North America for the next month and a half, and we've already been at it for 2 weeks, so it's good.
Yeah, of course. And I think you guys played gigs all summer, festivals, the In Flames festival that we always look forward to hearing about. And then you have gigs booked through the end of the year.
Absolutely, yeah. So then after the US tour, then we go back over to Europe and we do another month-long tour there till like the 14th of December. So
Nice.
we're rolling.
The well-oiled machine of In Flames. I heard good things about the Pontiac show, so we're looking forward to running that review. And again, we've just announced the new album. We got the announcement from our friends at Nuclear Blast about Forgone and Forgone Part 1, and always exciting things going on in the In Flames world. How can you contain yourself sitting on top of all this music that you can't share yet?
Well, it's one of those things where you realize that there's a larger mechanism kind of at play, between the record label and you, the media, everybody that has a part in the way that a record is released, and you definitely don't want to spoil that. So yeah, so that's why we're very tight-lipped. But we do have 3 songs out now. We've got Forgone Part 1, we've got The Great Deceiver, right, and we've got State of Slow Decay. So you guys are getting, I think, a good chunk of songs prior to the actual CD coming out.
That's awesome. And I'm sure there'll be more, and there'll be videos and other things, all the activations and fun stuff that always comes with an In Flames record. And also shout out to Nuclear Blast. They always do a tremendous job, not just their merch and their marketing and their PR. We're big fans. We always support all their, and they're having an incredible year. So next year is going to start off with a bang with In Flames in February. So
very, because we're obviously we're rolling really hard here, but at the same time, I think it's really going to be more about next year when the actual record does drop. And so I look forward to that, seeing what that's going to be all about.
And it's just, other than the, we'll call it the gap year for the whole planet, other than that, it was album tour pretty much like clockwork every 2.5 years for the band, especially in the time you've been with the group and supporting them. So, no rest for the wicked.
Exactly.
And I mean, I imagine if you guys are touring that much, do you still what's your regiment like on the road while we're talking about it? Do you still jam a lot every day? Are you relaxed and comfortable enough that you can just roll out there and fly? How do you do?
No, I always practice. Like, I love practicing. Like, for me, it's kind of like a chess match with my technique. It's like, how can I get it better? How can I get things so that they're easier for me to play? And when I step on stage, that I can be that much more relaxed about what I'm doing. So I practice quite a bit, and I do my best to try and stay fit. I spend quite a lot of time in these venues sometimes doing workouts, in the bleachers and the upper decks, wherever I can get some high poles to grab onto and stuff like that. So yeah, I spend time doing that and practicing. Those are my 2 main priorities, and then I get a little bit of relaxation time.
What does your relaxation time look like? A nap, a book on tape, anything else?
I don't know. It's usually eating and going through my emails and stuff like that, making sure I keep up on things at home. So yeah, but my priorities out here are simply practice and work out and sleep and try and stay on top of things for the show.
That's awesome. That's always been, I think that's always been the case for you since we met. You've always
Yeah.
been very focused, task orientated on tour, and hats off to you. It's hard to do this stuff at home, let alone while you're out doing your job, 2, 3 hours a night, and then filling up the rest of your time with travel and other logistics.
Yeah, it's one of those things where actually I think the road kind of helps keep me a little bit more focused, because you're not in your own element. And I guess for me it's actually a little bit easier to become lazy when I'm at home, even though in a way I've got more time to make sure I get things done. And so I try and stay on top of it no matter what, but being on the road helps keep me focused for sure.
Right on. And then diet, obviously you have, your tour rider and your food every night, but is it hard to maintain your diet you're focused on the road, or is it a little easier these days?
Well, I've been called many things like on stage recently, like tuna boy and all kinds of things that pertain to my diet. But right now, it's like, so I basically subscribe to the keto diet, and um, for me, it's like it got a lot easier when I kind of gave up on trying to make food taste good, and I just started eating based on the protein, carbos, and the fat that I needed. So, like for breakfast this morning, I had some uh, slices of ham and some cheese. You know, it's like I don't try and make anything that I love, like a burrito or some tacos or something like that. I don't try and make my food taste like that anymore. I've given up on that. And I just go for the nutrients. And then, of course, I always fall off the wagon and I've got to have my cheat days. And, then I just literally go nuts. But besides that, I try and stay really focused. So,
I will only
yeah.
ask one more diet-based question, which is now I have to know, what is like your ultimate cheat day food that you allow yourself?
It's pretty simple. It would be like Reese's peanut butter cups and burritos, anything with bread, a really good like sub sandwich or something like that. Um, I mean, I could go on into dessert land forever, but it basically encompasses all of those types of things, and it really brings the fat kid in me out. Like so. Yeah, I don't know if I could ever totally do without that, but I do my best to try and keep it at bay.
Reese's peanut butter cups in particular is like one of the few commercial candies that don't have a lot of junk in it. If you're conscious of this
Really?
stuff, I'm not anybody to be dispensing advice, honestly, but that's the one thing I do know is that Reese's peanut butter cups particularly don't have like trans fats. They're not. It's the
Oh,
least of all the evils you could do for
wow.
an actual commercial candy. So,
Yeah. Well,
um,
I guess at least I can take solace in that. you know, as
there you
I'm
go. There you
shoving
go.
like 200 of them in my mouth.
All of them, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's hard. It's hard. But thank you for sharing that. That's fun to talk and learn about. Like I said, I'm sure it's just like to keep yourself regimented is hard at home or on the road. But the road is so unforgiving and so random sometimes. But if you get into a good zone, and we've covered In Flames Forever and interviewed Anders and Bjorn many times as well. And I've interviewed you in the past also. So it's like, when you're dealing with a certain level of professionals, it's like, you don't have to do Taco Bell in the van anymore when you're doing the
Right.
bus, and you know what your schedule is, when load in and load out is. I will say this, I did see a really good interview recently with Maynard from Tool
Mhm.
talking about his upcoming tour with Pussifer. And as a singer, he's like, if I eat too close to the show, can't do it, I'm going to be sick. And then you don't want to get off stage and eat like a ginormous meal because then you feel terrible. So I thought that was really fascinating. I don't think that's something a lot of people talk about. And I don't know if it's the same for you and what you do. Like maybe if you feel too bloated or heavy, nobody talks about this, but like, if you eat a big meal and then run on stage, maybe that's not the best thing for you either. So I'm sure it has to be like within a certain few hours if you know what time you're hitting the stage.
Yeah, I would say if it's under 2 hours until showtime, you typically don't want to eat, like especially a big meal or a heavy meal, because it will slow you down. It'll make you a little lethargic, and you won't put on your best. I mean, I can't say this for everybody, but for me, that's the way I feel it would be. Like, you wouldn't put on your best show. But if it's a cheat day after a show, it's game on. So like, once the show's over, whatever, you know.
Right. Or sleep in or get extra you time, whatever you can do.
Yeah.
I'm sure these things are important for mental health as much as they are physical. And
Uh,
it ain't easy, even coming back after that break. I'm sure everybody, we were all like, barbarians at the shore, eager to get into the venues and see shows and play shows. I can speak for myself. I know it was really big for me to get back to going to concerts again, but
yeah.
also then it's the routine comes back, like that routine of your life that you had for many years comes right back.
Yep. Absolutely.
So here's a cool other topic to talk about. So right now in Flames, you guys are out with Meshuggah, and next you have this headline run, which is also awesome, and have awesome bands, gonna open for you. But I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, in addition to this run, you get to transition back to a kind of a headline show like you did more over the summer. Do you guys kind of let it fly and open it up a little bit with the set list once you have the whole full headline allotment of time?
Absolutely. I think right now, so right, just for clarity, right now we're actually headlining until October 2nd. I think that's when we join up with Meshuggah in my hometown of Colorado. So yeah, that's going to be a good event for sure. I'm going to hook up with all my friends, and I'm sure we'll be there just like in awe of Meshuggah when they go on. So it'll be great. Um, but for right now, we're headlining, and it's interesting because I think Anders likes to give the In Flames history lesson, and it's awesome to see the crowd respond to that, especially when you go back to so many early albums, Luna Strain and all of that stuff, and it's interesting because we get crowds that know the newer material, like I Am Above. Like, I can't believe the reception for that song, and for being such a new song, coming from an iconic band like Megadeth, where it's all about the old catalog, and then stepping into In Flames, where the new songs are getting as much attention as the old songs. It's amazing. So it's great to see that kind of um, you know, fan base coming alive throughout all of it, because you get your people that are cheering for the old stuff, and then some heads are going, wait, what's going on here? And then you get your people that know I Am Above, and they're getting to know State of Slow Decay and all of that stuff. So it's just cool. It's cool to see it happen, and to see Anders educate them every night.
No, I know he loves doing that, and I have been bared witness to that and been thrilled by it actually as an older head. But at the same time, the last few albums have been so strong, and I just feel like this next record is going to be, killer. These three songs are super heavy and really catchy, and also intricate and interesting. And I think I'm really excited about this concept record, kind of, which we haven't had for a while, that I can tell, like a strict concept record that the band is very open about. And there's always a little vague. He doesn't want to give too much out at the time the record is out. And then after it's out a while, I noticed that he'll share a little more. That happened with us. We had an interview with him after, before a record and then after. And then he was like, oh, now that it's out a while, I don't mind telling you the secrets. So,
Right.
I appreciate that about him. And, it's for a veteran band to still be operating at this high level with new music is very exciting, because there's definitely some bands out there. I'm not going to name names, but there are bands, some bands can rest on their laurels, if you would, if they can. And, maybe that's about what they have in them. Like, not interested in creating, or, you hear people say all the time, well, records don't really sell anymore. What is the cost? And, what is the break even point for us to take time off, write a record, record a record, wait for albums to get pressed now with the vinyl delays and stuff all over the world. But at the same time, I feel like the engine of new music does excite fans.
Yeah, all of those things that you mentioned are, I think, some of the reason why the new album is rolling out the way it is, because for all of those reasons, oh, CDs don't sell or albums don't sell like they used to. Okay, well, we're giving you singles, to kind of prepare you for the full release. And then it also gives time for album pressing. It gives time for media, to catch on to the hype.
Right on. And I'm very excited about this new album. Artwork is probably one of my favorites ever, at least in the last long while, where it's really fantastic. I can't wait to see this thing on a vinyl. I never thought vinyl would actually come back in my life. And I know you started playing in bands before streaming and before iTunes and before iPods, not to age you or myself, but the facts are. And, it's just very interesting to me. I do consider streaming doesn't really pay, but it is a great awareness builder.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, just as we wind this down, I want to give you back your time. As I said, of course, I have to ask, I'm out of curiosity, do you ever keep tabs on your old bands? I know Jag Panzer had a record a couple years ago. Megadeth has a brand new record. Do you ever get curious and check them out? Are you keeping current on those bands, or do you just kind of walk away and they're in the rear view?
Well, I still keep in touch with like Mark Broderick from Jag Panzer, and I still keep in touch with Van Williams and Jeff Loomis from Nevermore. And so I always kind of, just through chatting with them, know what they're up to. So I kind of keep tabs on them that way. But as far as like Megadeth, no, I don't really keep tabs on what's happening in that world. So yeah, but I have, I love Kiko's playing. He's a great player. So I will always, admire that.
Right on. That lineage is strong. All the Megadeth lead players. And we love Van here, by the way. Van is one of my favorite people I've ever chatted with, met, everything. I just love him so much. One of our favorites here at Ghost Cult. So I'm glad to hear you're still in touch with him. And then just obviously all your time is filled up with In Flames. But out of curiosity, do you have anything else on any other plans in the future? Side projects, bands coming back again, like Active Defiance or anything like that, or is that just on the back burner for now?
On the back burner for now, especially with this new album release coming up. And we kind of already went over what the tour plan is, and it's pretty daunting. So I shouldn't have too much time to do anything else. But if there's cracks and holes, we'll see.
Right on. Just a good fan natured question there, I mean, no ill will. Obviously, I know you're really happy. In Flames is happy with you. We're happy you're there, you're helping them out. And it's a tremendous match made in heaven, if you will. It's a perfect player with the band kind of situation. I was really happy when that opened up for you, and just all the best. Thankful for you and appreciate everything you've done. You've always been a good supporter of us right back. And so, I'm excited to see you on the tour later in the tour. And again, be safe out there. Keep your head up, keep fit, and we'll see you soon.
All right, man. Thank you so much. And, say big thanks to all your fans that are listening and staying metal. It's great to see everybody coming back to the shows.